Hello friends, I am Dr. Krishna Priya, a dentist from Kerala. I came across many people who aspire to migrate to English speaking countries like Australia, UK, Canada, etc. So most of you may know that to migrate to any country to get a PR or to pursue any course, you need to do an exam called IELTS exam. It's International English Language Testing System. Fortunately, I have cleared IELTS exam with an overall score of 7.5. I have given the academic test, and in this video I would like to give a brief description about passing the IELTS listening test along with the tips and tricks to crack the IELTS listening test in the very first attempt. First, we will move on to the brief description of IELTS listening test. Actually, there is only one pattern of IELTS listening test. That is, if you're taking general training IELTS or academic training IELTS, you all give only one type of IELTS listening test, the same pattern, same format, as well as the same scoring. So the IELTS exam consists of total 40 questions, and it is divided into 4 sections. The first 2 sections are much more easier than the last 2 sections. Actually, the exam is taken completely for 40 minutes. In 40 minutes, and the first 30 minutes you hear the audio, you write the answers after listening, and the last 10 minutes you transfer the answers from the question paper to the answer sheet. The recording is only played once. So, moving on to the tips and tricks of IELTS listening test. First of all, you will be given some time before the recording is played to read the questions. You should use judiciously that time to read the question, understand the question, and make a summary of that question in your mind. So that when the audio is played, you will get the answers very quickly. And that's the tip number 1. Tip number 2. As I have already told, the recording is played only once. So, when the audio is played, you should listen to the audio, read the questions once again, and write the answers as soon as possible. I know it's really multitasking, but it can be improved through regular practice. That's tip number 2. And the next tip, that's tip number 3, is I prefer you to write with a pencil and to write in block letters. To write with a pencil means you can cross check the answers and you can correct the answers if anything goes wrong. And to write in block letters means it will be very easy for the examiner to check the answers and you will get the scores very swiftly. Tip number 4 is if you miss an answer, you should quickly move to the next one because you should keep your place in the recording since it is played only once. So if you go behind the first question, you will lose time, you will lose concentration, and you won't listen to the recording, and the time passes. So you should not do that. You should quickly concentrate on the next question, read the next question, and write the answer as soon as possible. It is told so because all the 40 questions carry same weightage. If you get one question answer correct, you will get 1 point, and if you lose one, you will lose another point. So there is no such thing like that. If you answer one question, you will get much more marks than the others. So you should concentrate on each and every question equally. Tip number 5 is most often the answers come in an order. That is, if the answer for question number 3 is being played, then the answer for the question number 4 most probably comes after the answer for question number 3. But it is not at all mandatory. Tip number 6 is answers come very quickly. So you should keep an eye on the next question while writing the answer for the prior question. Tip number 7 is how to do the listening test. So you have to do 4 things simultaneously while giving the answers. First, you have to read the question, then you should understand what type of question it is. You should think of what type of question it is and listen to that particular answer for that question in the audio and then write it after getting the answer. That means if it is given time of an appointment, you should first read the question, that is time, then you have to listen to the audio and check wherever there is time is given, and now you have to write it down by listening it, and this is how you do the listening test. Tip number 8 is don't try to understand each and everything. So first of all, when you get time to read the questions, you know what are all the questions. If it is time, if then it's time, place, date, and all those things. So you should look for that answers in the audio. So you should not concentrate on each and everything. Anyway, you want to concentrate, but the unnecessary things you should avoid, and you should focus on the type of question and the answer which you want to pick up from the audio. Tip number 9 is understand the question pattern very correctly. Because if it is given no more than 2 words, you can write the answer in 1 word, 2 word, but not 3 words. So we have to answer it accordingly. Tip number 10 is you should write correct spelling. If you have any fault in the spelling, if you have any spelling mistakes, so you will lose the entire point, that is 1 point for each question. So spellings are much important. And the last tip, that's a tip number 10, is the question types. There are a lot of variety of question types like multiple choice questions, map completion, flowchart completion, summary, and so on. So we have to practice each and every type prior to giving the exam. These are the 10 tips which I used while I was preparing for IELTS listening test before giving the exam. So, to study individually without undertaking any coaching, you can do one thing. There are various YouTube channels providing IELTS listening practice test. You can practice most of the questions and answers using the YouTube channels. And one of such a YouTube channel is Crack IELTS with Ru. And that YouTube channel was very useful for me. And then, first of all, the key point to get a good score in IELTS exam is by maintaining the concentration and focus throughout the exam. Because if you lose the concentration and focus once, it will be very messy and you won't get good scores. So you have to practice maintaining the concentration and focus and correctly answering the questions prior to giving the exam. So, all the best to everyone. Practice well before giving the exam. In my case, I have done almost 200 listening practice tests before giving the exam. So, if you found any information in this video useful, please do like, comment, share and the video and subscribe my YouTube channel. I will be coming back with videos regarding the tips and tricks in IELTS reading, writing and speaking. Thank you.